Welcome all for yet another session on Dr. R.S. and you on science of cosmetics and personal care products. Right? Today, what we will be discussing is part 17, building blocks continues. Today we will be talking about rheology modifiers. We will be talking about rheology modifiers. Again, request you to go to part 1 introduction, the objectives of the program, and I have introduced myself. I have introduced the program, what I intend to do. Please go through part 1, and if you go through sequentially, you will, if you are new to this field, you will understand the techniques better. So what I intend to do, right? So I request you all to go sequentially, but definitely go to part 1 and study part 1. Thank you. Thank you for responding. So rheology modifying agents or rheology modifiers, that is what we are going to see today. So what is rheology? Okay, we will see what is rheology. Rheology is the science of flow properties, how a material flows. It's the science of flow properties. Rheological additives alter the structural aspect of a product. In cosmetics and personal care products, rheological additives are used to alter the flow properties. Example, creams, lotion, toothpaste, shampoo. All these products have different viscosity and different flow properties. Creams are softer than toothpaste. Toothpaste should be thick, but it should come out of the tube well and it should spread well on the while application. Lotion is much more flowy than cream. Shampoos have different properties, it's gel-like properties. So rheology modifying agents, specific rheological modifying agents are used for different applications, and one to alter the flow properties. 2, to formulate products that are thick at rest and flows with little shear. So when you keep in the bottle, it appears thick, but with little shaking, it becomes flowy, right? Little flowy. This phenomena is called thixotropy. In rheology, this phenomena is called thixotropy. For example, if you see aloe gel products, what happens? In the bottle it appears very thick, but when you take it and apply, it spreads very, very well on the skin. It just spreads. So that is called thixotropy. It looks thick at rest. Products are thick at rest, but the structure breaks and it flows. And when you keep it back, the structure reforms and it becomes thicker. So that is called thixotropy. Rheology modifying agents are used to suspend solid particles in a suspension. We discussed the calamine lotion. In calamine lotion, what happened? Calamine is suspended in water. So the rheology modifying agents aid to suspend the solid particles. It stabilizes the suspensions, right? It doesn't allow the particles to settle. To improve the stability of a product, right? So in a water, in an oil in water emulsion, oil is dispersed in water, and polymers in water, it forms structure in water, it structures water, and it doesn't allow the dispersed particle to coalesce and settle. So this we will see when we come to emulsion. So basically it stabilizes an emulsion. So rheological modifying product, or they stabilize the product, stabilize the emulsion for stability, to improve the sensorial properties of the product when used on skin, hair and teeth, right? So when it is correctly combined, it gives the feel to the when a cream applied on the skin, or when a shampoo is applied on the hair, or when you use a toothpaste. So how it spreads and how it it should not be gooey, it should spread well. So improve the sensorial properties to optimize the application properties, payoff of a product like lipsticks, lip balms, etc. So lipsticks and lip balms type of product, what happens? No, it is thick, but when you apply, then the product should uniformly distribute, right? It should not be like thick and product is not coming out while application. That the product coming out while application is called payoff, right, in cosmetics, right? So rheology modifying agents are also formulated in products to give that payoff, to balance that payoff, to boost the foam and to stabilize foam in cleansing products. There are some rheology modifiers which are also foam boosters and foam stabilizers used in shampoo, face washes and all. It boosts the foams and also stabilize the foam as film formers and fixatives. Especially the rheology modifying agent which thickens the product also forms a film. For example, peel off masks. Peel off mask, the ingredients that forms the thing, that has the rheology modifying properties in the product. At the same time, when you apply, it forms the film on your skin, right? So and it's the hair setting gels, hair setting gels, that also forms a film and set the hair. So rheology modifying agents has many applications in personal care product, though primarily rheologic modifying agents alter the flow properties of a product. Its entire study is on flow properties, right? So now I think this is clear. So how the rheology modifying agents can be classified? Okay, it can be natural and modified naturals, that are plant based, clay based and synthetic. Natural, and the natural ingredient is modified chemically. These are all plant based, clay based and synthetic, completely synthetic. This is one classification. The other classification is one that thickens water based system, the other that thickens oily system, right? So natural gums, cellulosics, clays, polyethylene glycols and other synthetic polymers, Anhydrous system, organoclays, polyethylenes, trihydroxystearine, aluminum magnesium hydroxystearate, silicas. Okay. See, if you are a student, if you are a student and if the question on rheology modifying agents are asked, so you can give both the classifications. You can give both the classifications, and then the first slide on what are the applications of a rheology modifying agents. So now, based on this classification, I am going to give you examples, right? Now, I am going to exhaustively cover the examples, give many examples. If you are from an industry watching this, you can see those examples. That will be very good for your application in your work for product development. If you are a student, you can go through that, but take some 2-3 key and you can explain in the exams. Those are very, you need not go to through the entire thing and memorize, but take 2-3 examples on each, right? And then discuss that, right? Now, so what we defined what is rheology, then we saw what are the applications of rheology modifying agents in a cosmetics and personal care products, for what purpose they are used, apart from altering flow properties, right? Then how they are classified, right? How they are classified. This is the classification. One type of classification is this way, one type is that thickens the water-based system, that thickens the anhydrous system. So this is very straightforward. The examples are given here, but here we will go further and see one by one, right? So it's going to be, I'm covering lot of ingredients. So take note of those ingredients, and you can just get into the suppliers literature and you can get more of those ingredients if you wish to apply in your products, right? So rheology modifying agents, natural and modified naturals, right? So these are the examples, okay? Thickening agents, plant based, right? Or rheology modifying agents. That is the correct term, covers all the properties of rheology. Thickening is one property, that's only viscosity. But rheology is not only viscosity, but it covers the entire flow properties and how the product behaves at rest, how the product behaves on shear, everything is rheology, right? So these are the examples: alginic acid, carrageenan, cellulose gums and cellulose derivatives, guar gum, pectin, sclerotium gum, tragacanth, gum acacia, xanthan gum and xanthan locust bean gum. Here widely used is carrageenan, alginic acid, cellulose gums, sclerotium gum and xanthan gum. It's widely used, right? While others are there, these are widely used. Guar, modified guars are used, right? So now we will go one by one, right? Right. So now alginic acid, right? Alginic acid, chemical name sodium alginate, potassium alginate. This is very important. So trade names, these are the suppliers. Please note so that you can get more of these things. It is a thickener, stabilizer and gelling agent used in creams and gels, facial mask and toothpaste. Right? These are the critical things. So, these are the critical things, alginic acid. So, alginic acid is a carbohydrate obtained from alkaline extraction of various brown seaweeds. It's from seaweed, right? Alginic acid is from seaweed, right? So, the second thing, carrageenan, okay. So, it's also from red seaweed. Carrageenan is also from red seaweed. Trade names: gelcarin, viscarin, colloid 7. This is all the suppliers. Gelling and thickening, it's used in skin creams and lotions, widely used in toothpaste and some aloe vera gels. So, here also we have formulation consideration, compatible with other anionic, non-ionic. So, these details can be used, right? So, basically what I want to tell, it's all from seaweed and it has wide application, right? So, the third one is guar gum, okay. The Hans 3000 guar, it's a trade name. Aculan is the major supplier, it's the guar gum, right? Guar gum. Aculan is the major supplier. It's used in hair conditioners, conditioning shampoos and aerosols. It's from guar, okay. Basically, it is a D-mannopyranose. These are all sugars, right? With D-galactopyranose, okay. So now, guar gum, right? Now, guar is also modified chemically. Guar is also modified chemically. It is called hydroxypropyl guar. Hydroxypropyl guar. It is called Jaguar HP8, HP60, HP120. Viscosity building in emulsion stabilizer, foam stabilizer, lubrication. It is used at 1 to 3% in toiletry products, creams, lotions, shave gels, astringents and shampoos, right? It is supplied by Rhodia. What is this? Hydroxypropyl guar. This is the natural guar is chemically modified. We said natural and modified. No, this is guar which is modified. Then the other major class is cellulose gum, right? So Aculan is one of the major people, then Miles, then Henkel, TIC, these are all the suppliers, okay. Chemical name, sodium carboxymethyl cellulose, sodium CMC. It is widely used in toothpaste, in shampoos, in lotions, in liquid makeups, right? So, sodium carboxymethyl cellulose is a natural gum. Then, cetyl hydroxyethyl cellulose. It's again chemically modified. So, this is used in hair care products, skin care, water soluble. Aculan is the supplier, right? Gives superior rheological properties than conventional hydroxyethyl cellulose. So, cetyl hydroxyethyl cellulose is the modification of the hydroxyethyl cellulose, and it gives better rheological properties, flow properties. Especially it is excellent in stabilizing suspensions. Right? Suspension is solid dispersed in a liquid. When water is a continuous phase in the suspension, this works very well in stabilizing suspensions. The other is hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. No, it's again hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. No, Dow and Henkel thickens, improved lather, emulsion stabilizer, improves lather, LATHER. No, improves LATHER, lather. Foam, improves the foam. So 0.5 to 0.8 in shampoos, in liquid hand soap, cleansing gels, hair conditioners, no, and in emulsions, cosmetic emulsions, in creams. So this is cold water dispersible or soluble, right? So Dow Chemical and Henkel, they are the suppliers. This is hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, right? This is another chemical modification of cellulose, right? Then another modification, hydroxypropyl cellulose is another modification. This is a foam stabilizer, no, used in shaving creams. Now when in the shaving cream, that foam has to be stabilized, used in shaving creams and hair styling gels. So it's also a rheology modifier. Apart from that, it has the foam stabilizing potential. Hydroxypropyl cellulose, the Aquilon is the supplier. The other, methyl cellulose, this is a simple cellulose. Again, it's a simple one, thickener and stabilizer, and used in lemon toothpaste, no, soluble in water. Henkel is one of the suppliers, right? So this is methyl cellulose. Cellulose is modified in so many forms. This is hydroxyethyl cellulose. Hydroxyethyl cellulose, again it's a thickener and stabilizer. 1% conditioning products, shampoos, toothpaste, supplier Aquilon, Henkel, right? So here formulation considerations are also given, it will be helpful. So now it depends upon your formulation. You have so many choices of rheology modifying agents, right? Then non-oxynyl hydroxyethyl cellulose, right? It's a primary thickener. So this is used in liquid makeups, liquid makeup to suspend the fine pigments that gives this is non-oxynyl hydroxyethyl cellulose, right? And then Amarcol is the supplier, right? So again it's used in lotions and creams. Basically it's used in liquid makeups and used in shampoos, okay? This is another combination, microcrystalline cellulose and carboxymethyl cellulose of national formulary. So this is a suspending agent, thickening agent. Okay, this is a suspending agent, thickening agents used at 1% in cosmetic and personal care products, 2% in reconstitutable suspensions. Right, what is reconstitutable suspensions? It comes as a powder, so you have to fill in water and then shake it and use it. No, you have seen it. See, you get the bottle with the powder, no, and before we start using it, you have to reconstitute with boiled and cooled water, shake it well, the suspension will be formed, and then you have to take it. So that is called reconstitute. This is mostly pharmaceutical, right? And it's widely used in suspensions, right? In cosmetic suspensions, this combination is used. See, supplier is FMC, Food and Pharmaceutical company. So the thing is, the other one is pectin from the fruit pulp, right? Pectin. It's a gel former, soluble in boiling water. So pectin is again used more in pharma, very less in pharma and food industries, right? Pectin is sometimes used in personal care, not very wide application, right? Sclerotium gum. So pectin, right? Pectin, after pectin, Sclerotium gum. This is a very, very important gum. It's called Amigel. Okay, 1 to 2% in gel products, 0.02% as an emulsion and as a thickener. No, it is compatible with oil, surfactants, electrolytes. Alban Muller is the supplier, and Sclerotium gum is a very, very strong gelling agent. Strong meaning it is compatible with all electrolytes, surfactants and oils. So this can be used. Tragaganth. Tragaganth is a traditional gum. Whether it is used widely now, very rarely used in some places in personal care. Okay, it's a dry gummy exudate obtained from Astragalus gummifer. This is the this is Tragaganth gum, used at 1 to 1.5% in shampoo, 2% in toothpaste. But is it? It's used mostly in in pharmaceutical. In personal care, now the use of Tragaganth gum is not very high, right? So next, very, 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 very important, very important. Now this is Tragaganth gum. Next, very, very important is xanthan gum. Okay, this xanthan gum is see, it's a product of biotechnology, right? It's a product of biotechnology, right? So xanthan gum. So now this is highly resistant to enzymatic degradation. So xanthan gum is very stable. So excellent stability in the presence of acids, salts and low pH. Excellent pseudoplastic rheology, anionic. It's an anionic in nature. Anionic polysaccharide. Right. So trade names Keltrol CG, Tixan Rodigel. Now, there are various grades of xanthan gum. There are various grades of xanthan gum, specifically grades that can be used in creams and lotions, grades that can be used in toothpaste. So you have to get the correct grade. No, you have to select the correct grade. You have to talk to the suppliers and you have to get the correct grade. So this is also compatible, this gum, with cellulose derivatives, starch, pectin, gelatin. So they can be combined together. No? Since this is anionic in nature, this is incompatible with cationics. Incompatible with cationics. So it should not be used along with cationics in conditioners. Cationic conditioners, you can't use this, so you have to be careful, right? So whenever you formulate a cationic product, especially conditioners, you have to be very careful in selecting the rheology modifiers. Xanthan gum, locust bean gum combination. Xanthan gum, locust bean gum combination. It's used in creams and lotions. Gum acacia, right? It's very rarely used in cosmetics now. It's used in lotions and facial masks, but not widely used currently in cosmetics, right? Then this is also another important category, rheology modifying agents, clay based, right? So this can be classified into three clays. Bentonite, so bentonite and derivatives, hectorite and derivatives, magnesium aluminum silicates. These are all the three. So bentonite, okay, bentonite, it's a colloidal aluminum silicate clay, okay, it's a thickener and suspending agent used in emulsions and suspensions. Calamine lotion, most of the calamine lotions have bentonites. So it is stable over a wide pH range. It's synergized with gums, right? So this is then modifications of bentonite. Quaternium 18 bentonite. What happens? It is used to thicken oils, right? It's used to thicken oils. So quaternary 18 bentonite, it's a trade name Claytone, supplied by Southern Clay, can be used in oil based products, as a rheology modifier. Then the next, styralconium bentonite, again it's a modified bentonite. This is designed for solvent systems such as cyclomethicone, mineral oil and mineral oil, no? So it disperses under high shear. So styralconium bentonite can be used in lipsticks for rheological modification. So oil based products, right? Then hectorite is the next. Hectorite is sodium magnesium fluorosilicate. Hectorite is sodium magnesium fluorosilicate is the hectorite. I think the previous one, styralconium bentonite, okay. So this is hectorite. From bentonite we have come to hectorite. See, hectorites are only suspended in water. It's a water based system. So bentonite is also water based system, but when you modify it, it can be used in oil based system. So here also hectorite is basically for water based system, right? These are the suppliers, basically used as suspending agent to suspend particles in water, used in liquid makeups, right? So it's used in creams and lotions, in anti-dandruff shampoos also, right? So this is hectorite, another clay that can be evaluated formulations. Then same way bentonite, quaternary 18 bentonite, so same way quaternary 18 hectorite. So it's used in hair grooming products, suntan products and in eye products. It disperses in oil, right? So bentone 38 is one thing. It's also used in lipsticks as a rheology modifier, right? Then styralconium hectorite, like styralconium bentonite, this is styralconium hectorite. Styralconium hectorite. This is quaternary 18 hectorite. From there, styralconium hectorite. So this is called bentone 27. Supplier Riox. No, this can be used in nail polish as a rheology modifying agents, lip products, antiperspirants, right? Bentone 27. Then now carbopol is mainly supplied by one of the other suppliers, no, is Lubrizol. Okay, Lubrizol is the company where they have different grades of carbopol. BF Goodrich is the original supplier. Okay, now they are the one who created carbomers, right? Carbopols, right? This is carbomer, very important group of rheology modifiers. So this is very important. See, now we also have carbomers which are pre-neutralized, right? Actually, carbopols have to be dispersed and then neutralized, but we get pre-neutralized carbopols. Okay, 3V is the supplier. So see here, you need not neutralize again. PNC 430, these are all the trade names. Of course, used in water-based gels, emulsions. Okay, requires no neutralization, should be added after all water-soluble materials are homogeneous or dispersed in the oil phase prior emulsification. You have to disperse so that when you add, it will migrate to the water phase and structure the water phase, right? That is how it is used. This is sodium salt. The one which we saw before, this is just the acid form, it has to be neutralized. Carbomer, no, this carbomer here again is a sodium salt. Right, this is sodium salt. The other synthetic rheology modifying agents is again polyacrylic acid is another nomenclature where this is Carbopol 400 series. Is all modification of, it's not no more BF Goodrich, this Lubrizol, right? Lubrizol is a people. So this is thickener and it's a pigment disperser, very important. Pigment disperser. So in liquid makeups and all, you have to disperse lot of pigments. So it's a pigment disperser, right? That is another grade of polyacrylic acid. Then there is acrylamide sodium acrylate copolymer. No? And this is by Hext, right? Hosterizin PN73 is the trade name. So it's used in emulsions, right? So this is another polymer used, synthetic polymer. Then again acrylate copolymer. This is Antil 208 is the trade name, Goldschmidt. So this is thickening agents for surfactant solutions. For face washes it can be used. Then acrylates C10, C30 alkyl acrylate coarse polymers. These are polymeric